1. Springer Mountain to Hiawassee. My journey started with a walk that had my heart pounding and my legs burning. Sweat drenched my shirt and got in my eyes. 30 minutes, and I hadn't gone anywhere. That was a year ago on a treadmill after being turned down for a leave of absence to hike the Appalachian Trail. I was determined to hike in a year, even if it meant going AWOL. For over a year of training on a treadmill, I never got blisters, never went uphill so steeply I could touch the ground ahead of me, and never got rained on. All of these things beset me within days of starting my hike. Computer programming was the job from which I walked away. My last assignment put me in the dark corner of a little-used building. On a good day, 2 or 3 people would pass by my desk. Other programmers seemed content to plug themselves into their machines, attached to the keyboard by their fingers, for 9 hours a day. When a programmer had an issue, he would get on the phone to another programmer 2 cubes away. I could hear both ends of the conversation. They could have heard each other without the phone. I felt out of place. I struggled to stay awake, propped my eyes open with cups of coffee, and fantasized about winning the lottery. If I had been given a leave of absence the first time I asked, it might have tempered my enthusiasm. Getting turned down solidified my resolve. I pondered the future. Would I continue reporting to a cube until retirement, with a few vacation days sprinkled in? After putting in 10 years with my current employer, I would start earning 3 weeks of vacation a year. Yippee! This is how it's done in middle-class America. Shouldn't I be thankful that life is as comfortable as it is? Most people are devastated if they lose their jobs. At the beginning of April in 2003, I broke the news to my boss. He said, "If you need to have a midlife crisis, couldn't you just buy a Corvette?" I appreciated him for putting me at ease with his humor. I even considered taking Corvette for a trail name. He was supportive and did all he could to get me a leave. It just wasn't part of corporate policy. As I tell my story, I will speak of other inspirations for my hike. In doing so, I am not contradicting myself. My job dissatisfaction was just one factor in my decision to hike the AT. Most thru-hikers, when asked, will offer up a single motivation. In part, it is the reason currently dominating his thoughts. In part, it is the type of answer that is expected, and in part, it is the type of answer that is easiest to give. It is not that simple. The reasons for a thru-hike are less tangible than many other big decisions in life, and the reasons evolve. Toward the end, possibly the most sustaining rationale to finish a thru-hike is the fact that you have started one. I chose to start late, April 25th, to avoid the winter, although many nights during my first month on the trail were chilly for my native Floridian blood, dipping into the 30s. I planned to finish quickly, also to avoid cold weather, and to minimize time away from my family, my wife Julie and our 3 daughters. A quick thru-hike is 4 months or less. The typical AT thru-hike takes over 5 months. My family drives with me to the start of the trail at Amicalola Falls, and we stay in the wonderful rustic resort located there. I leave my wife and kids in the room and head up the infamously rigorous 8-mile approach trail in a misty morning rain. To my surprise, the hike is not challenging. I feel fresh, and the exertion is overwhelmed by my excitement. New growth on the forest floor, coupled with the dampness, gives the trail a tropical feel. I use the timer on my camera to get a photo of myself walking out into the fog on the trail as it slices through a field of 1-foot-tall umbrella-shaped plants. Resisting the urge to burst down the trail, I focus on self-preservation. I've heard a thru-hike will take 5 million steps, and I naively reason that I can land softly on every one and keep making painless steps all the way to Katahdin.